Pete, it's so easy. First of all, how you doing?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Are
Sipping
you
on my little mixed drink, Can't complain.
you still working?
I am actually technically on call next several days, so I already got an assignment for tomorrow. That's something I rarely do, but it cheats me 8 days off, so I can go enjoy in Southport. How about that lead off, huh?
Mm.
Yeah,
So you're going to Southport pretty soon, huh?
a couple times. Yeah, actually, I will be going as long as the weather allows. I'll be going around the 8th, 9th, somewhere thereabouts
Okay.
for a whole week.
Are you plan on spending all your time offshore?
Yes, offshore, or we'll consider it near shore. Within 5, 6, 7 miles, I guess, as well, if the weather does not allow us to go offshore.
If it doesn't allow you to go offshore.
Correct. Yep.
Mm. Okay, so that would be a consolation. You're
Yes.
okay.
And if the weather does not allow us to do that, well, you know what? More of these.
So you're good at that. You're good at going out there and doing what you do, catching. What's going on, Wes? Catching kings, going hitting some live bottoms, catching some snapper and black bass, and all those fun bottom fishing species. And but do you ever do something that maybe you're not good at?
I will openly admit I am not good at near shore or inshore fishing for trout and drum and flounder and that
Redfish,
kind of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, anyone can flounder fish. Don't get me wrong, but like as far as trout and drum at Oak Island, nah, that's not my forte.
yeah. Well,
And do I try
is
to
it
do it?
is it because
Honestly,
it does it make
eh.
you uncomfortable? Is it because you're not good at it? Like,
I
what
think
is
it's
it?
a combination of me not wanting to try something new and the fact that I don't have the patience for nearshore fishing as well.
So you want to get on something hot and heavy. You want to catch
Always.
fish. Yeah. So,
Correct.
so you're
Yes.
like all those most of the clients you take, you like them. You want to catch fish.
If I'm at the beach, I want to catch meat. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not really into the sport of it. You're a meat hauler. That's it.
A combination of both, but I mean, let's face it. I have a nice boat down there, and if I'm going to take my boat out, we'll say 8, 10 times a year. You damn right better believe that I want to catch some meat. Yes.
I feel like inshore, everybody says that it's well, not everybody, but like you just mentioned that everybody can catch flounder. I don't think that's true. I think that patterning is difficult, and I think that there's more that you have to know. There's a more complex algorithm to figuring the fish out inshore than there is offshore.
I
I
agree.
mean, you have to, sometimes these fish they won't bite if it's dead low tide, or they may only be biting on an incoming tide. And
Yep.
when you hit them, let's say that you pull up to a dock, and the dock is only it's 4 feet deep at right before high tide, and you smack them that day. You catch your limit of flounder or black drum, whatever it is you're targeting, and the next day you go on the other side, and they're not biting. You have to figure out why. Like, why were those fish biting when they were biting on that
Yeah,
particular area of the tide?
that's correct. Talking to a lot of old timers that's all they do is trout and drumfish. They have their set choice of locations they go to all the time, and for them, it's more tidal. Okay, they like to be at a spot at a certain time with a certain tide, and you're talking to them, they say they'll pull up to a spot and they'll look in the shoreline and say, "Hey, that rock right there is not out the water yet. It's not time yet." So they'll
Mm-hmm.
leave and come back, and they come back and they see a little rock over there, just barely touching the surface of the water right there. Yeah, now they'll be fired up here. So they kind of have everything balanced out with the tide and where the water should be, flow, all that, to know that all right, it's time to come here because the fish should start biting.
It seems like there's a lot of contingencies. There's
Yeah.
amount of rain I think it affects inshore fishing more than offshore, and like the
Correct.
salinity levels.
Yeah.
Less rain typically means is good. When you get a lot of rain and it deletes that salinity, I think that messes them up more times than not.
It's actually both, honestly. So, no rain is good all around. However, rain is also good because it will push those fish down current towards the mouths of the inlets, or those areas there, versus way up the creeks and waterways and you name it.
This is a pretty tough time of the year. Everybody thinks that spring is one of the best times of the year to fish, and it can be. I think more so in freshwater than saltwater. I think
Yeah.
that really the biggest benefit to spring when it comes to saltwater fishing, especially early spring, early to mid spring, is the fact that you don't have to wear bibs anymore.
Right? You can pack a lot lighter. Yeah, no sweatshirts, hoodies, boots, none of that. Nope.
Yeah.
Anytime I can pack wearing shorts and short sleeves and flip flops, man, I'm a happy guy because that's a lot less shit to bring. Worry about.
It can be tough, can it, down there? It's kind of, it can be hit or miss because the bait's not schooled up yet. They're just getting there, and you're gonna have a lot of small baits. You're gonna have a lot of baits that are just running on their spring run. They haven't really settled in and gotten into schools yet. So it's not like you could just go out there like you can in the summer and just net a ball of pogies out there off the beach.
It's just now starting to show up, but it's not quite like you would want, like in the fall, like you speak of. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But the thing about saltwater is you can always catch some pinfish, some croaker, even lizard fish. You can always catch something for bait. Right. You can fill your live well up with something, even shrimp.
The thing with saltwater too is you can always do something if you got to have a backup plan or a backup. You can always target something or do something else, or go somewhere else and catch something. So there's always options every day you go.
Now, how far out is the like the tide line usually? Like when you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it varies. I mean, time to time, it really depends what the wind direction is, rain, all that. But that tide line could be non-existent, or it could be. I've seen it out there as far as 8 miles sometimes. But it varies, man. It really does.
Now, do you ever fish around it?
I love it in the fall, especially. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will White said offshore's on fire right now.
It's on fire, baby. Yeah, and I can't get down there yet. One more week, baby. One more week.
My friends I grew up with, we take an annual trip every year. This will be the first, second, third. I think this is the 4th year we've done it. We do it every year, and every year we've went to Murray, and this is the first time we went somewhere different. Everybody wanted to go somewhere different, and they decided on Southport. So they got an Airbnb, and Lacey and Alan and my friend Ricky and my cousin Heath, they just got down there today, and I'm gonna go meet them down there tomorrow.
Heck yeah! So weather's supposed to be nice. Saturday is looking beautiful. Just FYI.
Yeah, that's what Alan said, and
yep,
it's but we're in a 24-foot Carolina skiff with a 150. So I don't know how comfortable he feels, especially with I think we're going to be right at weight capacity on that boat.
What is y'all's plan as far as targeting? What are you going to do?
Well, he mentioned trying to find some Spanish, trying to find maybe some kings. He wants to go out there and kind of fill it out. I think that's what they're doing this evening.
You heard about the bonito bite, right? So that's been pretty hot the last several days. I think it's starting to slow down a little bit, but yeah.
That was on the fishing report. Yeah.
All right.
There's probably out there around the tide line, I would imagine.
Shoot me a message later. I'll tell you where. I got the 411 on that. So.
Okay.
It's where you would maybe expect. It's not a secret spot by no means, but it's not where everyone's going to pile in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Spivey gave me he sent me several pins, but because I had forgotten, we'd already done a show on Southport a year ago, and it popped up on my memories on Facebook, and I was like, oh no, now so I had to watch that show just to make sure that I'm not just repeating what I said on that show. So I told Spivey, I was like, man, you're gonna have to help me out with some content on here. Give me something to talk about. Give me some places.
Get Spivey on here. We can get Will White on here too, because he's a Oak Island Southport regular as well. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, can you send him an invite?
Yep, I can do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot you this text before I forget. By the way,
I can't send. I can't send Spivey an invite. He's at a ball game. He's at his son's ball game. So, or he would have been on here. I've already tried to get him on, and he would have came on, but he had the ball game.
All right, before I forget, but there's your answer right there. And yes, there's Spanish there as well. Bigger ones.
But I was gonna share Spivey's pins and he doesn't care. I mean, that's why he sent them to me. But I don't feel comfortable putting it out there for everyone to see.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a guide. Like I can't stand the guys that go fishing with a guide to get their spots. I can't stand it.
Welcome to the guide world, man.
If I were ever to go with a guide, I've been with one guide in my life, and that was only because my friend wanted to go fish the James River, and I was like, sure, yeah, I'll go. We'll go fish it. I said, we'll take my boat. He's like, oh, I already got a guide. And I was like, well, okay. So I went, and we got skunked. So the only time I've ever went with a guide, I got skunked. And on the James River, nonetheless, I've never gotten skunked on the James River. I've done well every time I've ever been. But yeah, go with a guide one time and go figure. Yeah, we get skunked. But anyways, if I were to go with a guide and he were to put me on some fish, some spots, some of his honey holes, his bread and butter, I couldn't go back and hit those places. That's one of the reasons I don't want to go with a guide, because I'd be tempted to go back to his honey holes and hit them.
I know it. So one thing about my shallow water crappie fishing on these guide trips is I get a feel for a lot of folks, what their intentions are. And I ask questions, prior to jump on the boat. And I'll lead to a few things. And if I find out these guys are just trying to burn a spot, I won't take them to my favorite spots, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah, every spring, I definitely get those guys, and I feel them right away. I know right away what their intention is. And
I would be a nervous wreck.
I don't go to my A++ spots, put it that way.
Yeah. If I went with you and we wore them out, and I came back home and I told my buddies, I was, man, I know where they're at. Let's go get them. And we went out there and we anchored up and we were wearing them out. I would be nervous. I'd be looking around, waiting on you to
Right.
waiting on you to come pulling up. And if I saw you,
yep.
I would set a world record on getting an anchor in, and I would be out of there.
you cut the damn rope, don't lie.
Yeah, I probably would.
Will is coming.
But you would probably, if you would just be honest with the guide, like if someone went with you, or let's say me, for example, if I went with you and I told you, hey, Pete, I got a boat, that should be like your number one rule. If you take a client that's got a boat, then you don't show them your honey holes.
Right.
But
couple questions I ask every time, that exactly. Do you own a boat? Yes. Where do you live? Oh, I live 10 minutes from High Rock. When they say that, okay, no, but a lot of times they'll be like, yeah, I live out towards Greensboro, Winston. I'm like, all right, well, they got Jordan Lake and some other lakes that way. High Rock ain't shit, really. They're not going to be here every day. All right, so what's next? And I'll keep on leading more questions, What's your intent? You want to catch a couple big fish? You want to catch numbers, And so a lot of guys are like, I don't care. I want to catch a few fish, so on and so forth. So I lead them down the road to kind of figure out what their intent is. And the moment I hear something about a boat and I live, within whatever, and I get off work at 3:00 every day, yep, nope, I'm not taking you to my favorite spots. Not doing it.
Now, if they were to just be honest and they would say, hey, Pete, listen, I got a boat. I want you to know that, first of all. So I'm not expecting you to take me to your honey holes. What I'm expecting is let me get Will on here.
What's up?
Hey, there's Will.
What's up?
I would tell them what I'm expecting from you is is I want to pick your brain. I want to
Yeah.
I want you to tell me and show me why these fish are here. I want you to tell me why these fish are biting. I want to learn how to do what you're doing. I don't care about your spots. I'm not trying to burn your spots. I'm trying to learn.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
if they did that,
Exactly. So I'll add this too. A lot of my striper trips are exactly that. I want to learn what you're looking for, so on and so forth. And I tell the guys that that do book me, go fish with me. There's no secret spot when it comes to striper or hybrid fishing. You've got to kind of sort of know what's going on at a given time. And if they want the best learning opportunity, go with me when I haven't been fishing in 2 weeks, where I got to figure it out from scratch. Seriously.
yeah.
So that's like, oh yeah, sure, let's do it. So, yep.
What's going on, Will?
Not a whole lot, man.
Will
Just-
White, everybody. Will White just got back from a big
Slayer.
offshore trip.
Yeah, we'll try to. I think we ended up 7th place in that Wahoo deal.
Really?
Went from like 3rd to 7th.
Wow.
That's how it goes on a good day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't find, dude. We caught like 5 30-pound Wahoos. It's spring, so that's all that's out here. But I guess that's how they make that tournament competitive. Is have it during the worst time to catch Wahoos in North Carolina.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so you went from the getting in a tournament where it was the worst time to catch hybrids to getting in a tournament where it was the worst time to catch
back to back. But in Florida, I mean, dude, like the first place in the Northeast Florida Wahoo tournament was like 300 pounds in like a 4-fish aggregate.
Wow.
Like that's nothing but studs. Like I think the smallest fish in the tournament was like 64 pounds.
Nice.
Wow.
That area there off Jacksonville sees bigger Wahoo overall, right? At certain times.
Yeah, no doubt. But they do a lot of live baiting.
Do that.
I mean, they do a ton of live baiting.
They got a dang run they got to make out there too, but why don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. But they do a ton of, I watched the video on it last night. They started out trolling. They were marking them. They're like, we can't get the fish up. Went and caught blue runners and come back, and they're just skying on everything. It
Damn.
was like king mackerel fishing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's super cool.
Blue runners. If only we can get our hands on those around here. I have caught a few before, by the way, but it's not like you can go there and say, "Hey, I can go catch a tank of blue runners anytime." It's not the case.
Do y'all
Right,
think this show is on near shore and inshore, but do y'all think I gotta ask a couple offshore questions. Do y'all think Wahoo are speed sensitive? I know that you can slow troll for Wahoo and you can high speed troll for Wahoo, but when you're doing those, is there a certain like mile per hour that you should try to achieve?
I would just, no slower than 8 miles an hour, 8 or 9 miles an hour.
Yep. That's what we do when we slow troll, and when we high speed, I try to go, I don't know, like maybe 15, maybe 12 to all the way up to like 17 miles an hour when I'm high speed trolling.
I'll tell you the trick to the high speed. Just go the speed the boat wants to go. Like every boat has that sweet spot. Like some boats is 15 miles an hour, some boats is 13 miles an hour. But with high speed, you're just trying to eliminate the bycatch. So if you slow down and you just 12 and you get an amberjack, then
that's right.
Go up a couple miles an hour.
That's a good idea. That makes perfect sense because you kind of do the same thing when you're near shore, when you're Spanish fishing, and all you're picking up is bluefish. You speed up just a little bit. Outrun the bycatch.
Right. That's all you're really trying to do. Or that's what I bought, a ton of high speed lures, and I could not catch a wahoo on them. And I finally called the guy at Palmetto, because my buddy's like, man, the big resin lures have been catching fish. And called him. I was like, dude, I've got $500. I said, send me your best lures and tell me how to pull them. And he told me 13, and we did 13 and we caught fish, but the boat we were fishing on 15 miles an hour was like, it wouldn't come off plane. It would stay there. The motors sounded good and all that stuff. Sweet spot.
Yeah, that sweet spot. Whatever's making that vessel feel good.
Right. And if you catch a damn amberjack, speed up a little bit. I have caught an amberjack at 18 miles an hour. I don't know where those fuckers come from, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've caught wahoo slow, well, we'll say slow trolling, 4 5 miles an hour. And like Will said, 7 to 8 seems to be my number as far as, what I've done in the years past. Again, don't take what I say for granted because I've been out the wahoo game for a long time. Every time I say, hey, I'm going, man, it's the weather or some various reasons. So anyways, but 7 to 8 seem to be my sweet spot overall as far as trolling meat. Belly
Right.
stuff.
Do y'all ever run across bait out there?
Oh yeah.
So like if you were to come up on and you started, you were marking a lot of bait or you saw a lot of bait, would you try to like circle that like the outer perimeter of the bait, or do y'all just run through them?
In years past, I'll answer this for Will. He's more pro than me here. But in years past, if I were to mark bait out there in the stream, I'd probably be by that bait all day long. I would not even leave it.
Yeah.
But also in the fall and wintertime back in the day when I wahoo fished all the time, if I saw blackfin tuna, I wanted to be around them more than I wanted to be around bait because your bigger wahoo aren't afraid to chow down on a little football sized blackfin.
Oh, that's a fact.
Hmm.
That's a fact. Yeah, if I'm high speeding, I'll cut a circle and drag the way back through them. Because when you go by them, they're going to be down. You make that sharp turn and pull that last plug right past them. Usually you get a bite coming out of a turn on high speed. That's a pro tip there. Don't go in a straight line. Don't get lazy and set the autopilot.
Yeah.
Well, do y'all ever do any near shore? I know Pete does for kings, but you guys ever do any kind of near shore or inshore fishing? Do you, Will?
Yeah, that's funny y'all were talking about doing the charter thing. I suck at inshore fishing. I mean, absolutely. Like, there's some stuff I don't want to say on the airways as far as location wise, but sometimes when the sun goes down, I can go some places and find some lights and get lucky. But in the daytime, don't ask me to waste my time on that.
That's my thing, and I know that Pete. I really didn't want to say it because I knew Pete was going to give me a hard time, but since you just said it, I will.
Yeah.
Absolutely, fishing dock lights at night and inshore.
I mean, but that's anywhere. That's on the lake.
That's an absolute blast, man.
Right.
It's fun.
You're probably not going to catch a big one though. I mean, you're probably going to catch a lot of undersized trout.
Yeah,
but it's fun
and a lot of trash fish.
Yeah, well, a lot of junk, but
I got a couple of light of piers I know of on the waterway. I'm sure Will probably knows about it. Maybe JR, I don't know, but I hadn't been there in God knows how long. But man, I prefer to do other things at night, like drink. And,
no shit.
No, I don't. I haven't.
Hey, 10 years ago, I'd be like, heck yeah, man, 24-hour fishing trip. Nowadays, like, man, the sun's setting, it's time to relax. And
oh, dude, you're up in the river and there's freaking no wind. It's like midnight. And waiting on the tide change.
The other thing about night fishing out there is, man, you're always slapping the back of your fucking ankles, man. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. But it gets really good. I mean, it's fun. I mean, I've done it a bunch of times, and the next morning I regretted it.
Right. So I want to add this. As far as nearshore fishing, one thing that I do love do, and I would consider myself, I'm not going to say good at it, but decent, is summertime flounder fishing when these fish hit the ARs and those other rocks and everything, within, on the beach, basically. That's one thing I love doing. But the thing is, man, the last couple of years, I cannot get myself to do it now with a one fish limit. Not doing it.
Yeah, it sucks. You just go to South Carolina.
Right? Yeah, no, right? I thought about that, but then again, it's not worth hauling down there just to flounder fish as well. So I personally don't think that flounder are the best eating fish out there. I think they're just average at best, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those how you prepare it. What can you stuff in it? What can you season it with?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think it's all that, honestly. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not my top 10 best eating fish. No doubt about it.
Right.
So what depth of water would you be looking at right now? It being springtime and in a Carolina skiff, you can't go out very far. So I'm thinking our max on a really, really good day is probably inside 20 miles.
Oh yeah, you could have fun.
So here's a common misconception with nearshore fishing is everyone's like, oh, depth, this and that. But at a Southport, the real answer is clean water. You got to find clean water and bait.
And that
You
makes
don't find-
sense. I
you
know
don't
when
find-
you're fishing inshore, it's dirty a lot of times, and that's
Yeah.
usually good. When it's clear, it's like it's tougher. Is it the
No,
same way out there?
no, absolutely. So out here near shore, when the water's dirty, your Spanish
It
and
sucks.
won't be in there at all. You
You
got
might
Okay.
as well trailer to Masonboro or put in at Wrightsville Beach if it's dirty like that.
or
Oh,
go
okay.
offshore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't be because we haven't had that much rain lately.
No, I rode out on the beach last Sunday. It was green. I mean, it was
Okay.
king green right out on the
If
beach.
they're
King
catching
green.
kings on the beach, then it's right. Okay. But here's the thing, though, is Southport, Oak Island, Holden Beach area there. You get a southwest wind, that water's trash 1 mile out.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
So, what is the fishing report saying right now? I know both you guys probably know.
it's on
I mean,
fire.
it's on fire. I mean,
All right, I'm gonna Google the fishing report right quick.
I would find clean water and start fishing there. If it's over a wreck, go to the closest wreck to the clean water, and then start
Closest
there.
wreck to the clean water. What if it's all clean?
JR, right now, you can probably go to Yopon Reef and do pretty good.
Yeah, you probably go to the community holes, man,
Yeah.
and mop the floor with them. Hit all the ARs that you could get to. I mean,
Hey, JR, seriously, traditionally, the first week of May is when some of the biggest kings are caught, or biggest kings and cobia are caught on the beach in Oak Island.
no doubt.
So a lot of that is, when I say on the beach, Yopon Reef area, that kind of stuff.
I think there was two. Somebody I know caught. I mean, two kings, and they were at least 18 pounds, 18, 20 pounds. Nice size fish. Caught two of them right on the beach.
The two piers have been catching kings the last few days, Ocean Crest and Oak Island Pier. So
Nearshore anglers have enjoyed plenty of Atlantic bonito bites, both on the troll and by casting. Spanish mackerel already moving in. The Spanish are mixed in right alongside schools of bluefish. Well, that's good to know. So
Yeah,
if
dude, we caught some other week. The ABs are fun to catch.
I want to catch a couple to eat. I've been told how good they are. I've only caught one ever because, I can't say I've been down there.
now isn't an Atlantic bonito? Ain't that a little tiny? Those are terrible to eat.
No, this is a different one. This is
It's
a different
okay.
species. This is like sushi grade.
So it's
Yeah.
actually in the tuna family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude,
Okay.
I ate some. We caught some.
So it's a real bonita because
Yes.
the little tunnies look like bonitas, but they are not.
Yeah, those things are blood. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
what do
terrible.
we call them? Boneheads.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, they're it's kind of bland, raw. Like if you're not putting something with it, or I think ceviche is like the best way to to get it done.
Ceviche or sashimi, as long as you dip it in like soy sauce or something.
Right. But straight off the bone, it was a little bland. It didn't have like that tuna taste to it.
So right now, if you guys were going after Spanish or Kings, where would you go if you had to stay inside 20 miles?
Ooh.
All the ARs, Yopon Reef, and all the community holes.
So re-ask this question and ask, do we want to catch numbers or do we want to catch those 20-pound or above kings?
Well, oh man, numbers.
I'd stay on the beach.
Stay on the beach.
Close to the beach.
Okay.
I would, for a big fish right now, I would stay on the beach, Yopon Reef area, somewhere thereabouts. If you want to catch numbers right now, I would probably poke out to Lighthouse Rocks or the Shark Hole.
Shark Hole. How
Yes.
far is Shark Hole out?
15.
Yeah.
15. I'd say, from the inlet, to be more exact, I want to say 16 and a half, somewhere thereabouts.
Yeah, it's not that far. I mean, dude, I forgot what AR rig that was. It's the one straight out of Lockwood, but I mean, it was a pretty good bite there.
They call that the Brunswick, I think. I don't know what the number is, but it's called
440, I think, 445 or something like that. But I mean, you couldn't miss. I mean, and then, I started at like McGlamory, didn't see, it was just blended. The tide line was right on top of McGlamory. I was like, oh, it's about to go off. I think we caught like 3 or 4 Spanish there. Everybody was just picking at them. And then my buddy called me, said the ABs were biting at the 440. and then I think it was 8 miles from there.
Yeah.
And but it isn't. I mean, it's right off the beach from Lockwood. I mean, you can still see the water tower.
Yeah. So I believe,
go ahead,
that
Pete.
wreck is called, well, that the area is called the Brunswick, JR. If you want to, that's where you want to head to.
So you guys, if you're trolling for kings, and let's say, I mean, obviously live bait is going to be the best bet, but I don't think the pogies are. I don't think it's very easy to go out there and catch pogies in a net right now.
Call me when you get there, and I will tell you where to go.
Okay, that's awesome.
They're not on the beach real thick yet, but
Yeah.
JR,
Well, what would be the next best thing? Just cigar minnows with like macaroons or ballyhoo.
So you can't ever go wrong with cigar minnows. I mean, cigar minnows you get a box for $20, or the ballyhoos you get 12 for $20. Kind of do the math. What do you want to do? I'd stick with ballyhoo. Now I want to add this also right now. Again,
you said you would stick with ballyhoo.
Correct. If you're going off the beach,
right.
Lighthouse Rock, Charcoal area. Okay. I do want to add this now. Okay. So traditionally speaking, I mentioned the biggest kings are caught the first 2 weeks of May. Okay. But right now, also, while you are king fishing that same area, Yale Pond Reef, the beach, this is going to be your best time right now to get snuck up on by a big ass cobia as well.
So, and the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard's been
the Coast Guard, yeah. While you're king fishing out there trolling, you may keep your eyes peeled, man, because they are there as well. The rule of thumb is if you're catching kings in the spring, the cobia are there as well.
No doubt.
Okay, so if you're fishing, let's say that you're fishing live bait. What do you guys what is your preferable speed for trolling live bait? And also, what is your preferable speed for trolling dead bait?
I guess it depends on the boat. If you're in a twin engine boat, I'll just put one motor in gear pulling live bait. I'm pulling macaroons, I'll just put both of them in gear. Just whatever good they swim, throw it next to the boat and see what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay.
If
dead bait, I like about 2.5, 3 miles an hour. Live bait, as slow as possible to keep them swimming straight. That could be 1 mile an hour, maybe a little more than that. But in the fall, bigger baits, you can go a little faster. In the spring, generally speaking, your baits are kind of smaller, so you really got to go as slow as possible.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, because I have fished Southport a good bit in the fall for kings, and we always pulled. We never had any problems catching big pogies, and we would always we would troll those large pogies. We could troll those things up to 6 miles an hour with no problem.
I don't know about that. You might troll 6 miles an hour for like 5 minutes.
We would bump it in gear, and if you have a falling tide, or depending on which direction you're trolling, you're going to troll faster. But yeah, we'd get up to 5-6 miles an hour, and the pogies would still they would be swimming in that.
That's hauling ass. If you ask me.
Yeah, that's ripping.
You wouldn't want to go any faster than that. Yeah, you wouldn't want to go any faster than that. But okay, so what if you're pulling plugs? What type of plugs do you guys like to use for kings?
I'll tell you right now, if I had to pull plugs for kings,
Yozuri,
I would put my damn boat in a trailer and go home.
Oh, really?
I love it.
Really? You, the artificial guy?
Seriously,
the artificial guy. You're flip flopping.
I would rather pull dead bait than plugs.
Well, dude, your chances of catching a good one, I mean, slashed right in half as soon as you put the plastic in the water. Like
that's right, plastic or hard baits. Yeah,
it's over. Like you might catch a big Spanish.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the same thing goes for freshwater. Striper fishing, hybrid fishing.
No.
Well, striper fishing, not necessarily hybrid. They don't really get big anyways, but like I don't know. What's the Lake Norman hybrid record?
Well,
I would.
You gotta keep in mind we're talking about NC where they don't get big. Period here. So.
They're all little.
All right. So you prefer the ballyhoo over the cigar minnows?
No, cigar minnows over ballyhoo. Now, serious question about the whole plug thing.
Now you flip flop.
I will not. I will not pull plugs at all. But if I can't get live bait and I don't have dead bait, I'm pulling Clark spoons and salvaging the day with some Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, is
You
there
could
is
might
there-
try a drone spoon. I mean, sometimes the drone spoon, if they're
Yeah.
biting really good. If they're not
But
biting really good,
yeah, those
is
drone spoons work good at places where these, we'll call it snake king show up, like
right?
the charcoal,
The
that kind of place.
schoolies and all that
there a
stuff.
rig that you can catch kings and Spanish on?
Drone spoons.
Play a drone spoon.
Hmm.
Tell you something I did years ago that actually did work, but we're not talking about good numbers. It was more so me being a little kid back then and, moving spot to spot, putting something behind the boat. I would troll I believe it was a 2-ounce sinker with about 30 feet of 80-pound mono with a Yozuri plug in the back. And we troll that thing about 12, 14 knots maybe. And we would catch occasional king or a big Spanish, doing that, going spot to spot on a headboat. Never did that on an actual offshore boat, but it really did work. We caught a lot of fish doing that way back in the day. But when I say king, like no bigger than 8 pounds.
I've caught one big one fishing with a guy in the U.S. Open. It was probably 6 years ago, but he was like, didn't have a live well. It was like some big Grady White, and we pulled Yozuris and we caught one fish on it. And it was a good one, but it come undone right at the boat. I mean, just like about to stick the gaff out. Pow!
That's happened to me a lot. What's the best size planer?
I don't know.
You
I'd
guys-
go. I don't memorize my planner numbers, unfortunately. I'd have to go to my little thing here and tell you, but I couldn't tell you offhand.
I would have to say maybe a number 2.
Maybe.
Now, best planner for what? Wahoo or like Spanish?
No, not Wahoo. Like kings or Spanish.
A number 3's decent size. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, at some point, I just use a down.
I would go. Do you really want to know? I'll go to my little thing real quick. Be right back.
Okay, all right. I mean, would you
y'all are gonna
recommend?
have a blast, dude. I mean,
Would you recommend staggering baits and like incorporating planer? Because my buddy, he doesn't have a downrigger. But
I went out that one weekend. What was that 2 weekends ago? And I just pulled two planers. Like I just put one way out there, and I put one up close.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any issues. I was turning tight all day and stuff. I wouldn't be scared to do that with those little drone spoons. I mean, you can catch bluefish, Spanish, the bonitos, and then
like a number 1 and number 2.
All right,
number 1 and a number 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Some 20-pound fluorocarbon, or
I wouldn't even go fluorocarbon, honestly. Just straight 20-pound because you're trolling at 7 mile an hour roughly, so they don't have time to really think about it.
Right.
11 miles an hour. That semes kind of fast.
7 miles an hour.
Yeah, like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
How much weight?
In there.
You putting any weight on it?
On a planner, no weight at all.
Well, no,
Yeah.
not on the planers, but on your other stuff, like 1
I
or 2
don't.
ounces.
I don't at all. I'll have the planters out there, and I'll have a bird out in the middle. That's it.
Like a daisy chain. Or
Daisy
something like
chain. There you go.
Like Spanish Candy or Blue Water Candy makes one. It's called like a Spanish daisy chain or like a
Blue Water Candy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys pulling those around. And then what's the little rig that's got like 5 hooks on it? It's like a Christmas tree. You know what I'm talking about?
That's also made by Blue Water Candy.
Yeah, get you a couple in.
So my thing with Spanish is number 1, they can be sensitive overall, but when that bites fire, man, it does not matter what you put out there, they'll eat it.
Right.
So I try to get too fancy overall. I have my basic stuff for the Spanish mostly, but just keep it. I try to keep it pretty simple.
Y'all incorporate jig heads?
Low budget, man. You got to understand, fishing all the time. You try to keep it as low budget as possible. So
y'all wouldn't believe this if I told you, but I took my boat to the beach after that striper tournament, and no shit, I was just out there goofing off on the beach and put an A rig out and caught a bluefish.
Hey, I believe it, man.
Swear to you. I said, no shit.
Man, it just bluefish will hit absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, show.
That was crazy. I was like, there's no way. I just discovered something new.
I wouldn't mind getting on some chomper bluefish.
They're biting right down there right now.
Yeah, my buddy caught one the other day that was 34 inches. It was a monster.
Wow. That's
You might
is there
catch one
what's
trolling for kings,
that's
and
got to be a citation for a
It was
bluefish.
huge.
I'd like to catch a citation sheep's head. You
They're
guys know
biting too.
y'all know anything about them?
that is my weakness. Nope.
All I could see
I
was
know where and
crabs
how,
or
but I
whatever.
just don't have the patience to do it as well.
Oh my goodness, the patience.
That's it. You gotta understand, man. I'm a running gun kind of fisherman sometimes. When it comes to saltwater.
I think what it is,
Bait
Will.
fishing, man, if I'm
I think
trolling an area, unless I'm absolutely dedicated to an area where the signs are perfect. If I'm pulling a bait and 45 minutes go by and we don't get a strike, I'm out of there. I'm gone.
Pete said he ain't fishing for no damn fish that somebody can bank fish for.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. I got to go make another drink.
I was gonna say I didn't buy a boat just to mingle around the bait fishermen. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no doubt. If you're gonna go flounder fishing on the beach, you ought to put the live scope on the Cape Horn.
And I'll pass on that.
Dude, Shane's been using it fishing in the river. He says it's a game changer for sheep's head.
For
You know,
sheephead,
like pulling up the pylons and stuff. He's like,
yeah.
this is a game changer. I'm like, oh my God. I'm starting to see it a lot more down there. I've seen a couple boats in the marina that's got live scope on the front of their Pathfinder.
Actually, I saw one last time I was in Southport, mind you, back in October, or twice, I think, back-to-back days. Had a live scope, like two live scope units in the front. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah.
No sheephead is safe now.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember the brand, but it was like a 24-foot skiff, not skiff, but a bay boat. Slightly bigger than usual bay boats. But yeah. Hey, how much did your So, question about Southport here, real quick. I didn't get so I signed up for all that draft from the account shit from the marina.
Oh
But
my God, I got that email yesterday.
yeah, but it hasn't been taken out of my account yet. So I don't know if they fucked up or I fucked up or what. But did they take money at your account yet for this
No,
month?
I haven't seen it hit yet.
Okay, all right. I thought it was just me. All right, never mind then.
I didn't understand. I was like, why are y'all going backwards? Like this
So
is
I'll tell you why. All right, because those credit cards charge a percentage, and so in order to do
4%
that
eating them
direct,
up.
they don't lose that 3.5%, whatever it is, So that part actually makes sense to me. But if I see that damn fee go up one more time, I swear to God, I'm out of there.
Dude, I just like, all right, so y'all are collecting 4% more a month and y'all just went up $50 on everybody. I was like,
Yeah.
where does it stop?
Yep. Exactly.
But where are you gonna go? Just
right.
But I'd hit that lady up across the street, man. $900 for the year.
I will. I should call her because I would love to move there, like come November, So
Right.
What do they go up on your rent again?
No, we're discussing about this new little system they have in place to take money at your account versus credit card, kind of thing. Save a percentage, but not yet. But I'm just waiting for that notification saying, "Hey, we're going up a little more on you." No, you do that, I'm peace. I'm out of there. The convenience is great, but now we're getting to the point where it's worthwhile to just do something.
Well, excuse me, Lee. I didn't realize you was a trolling fisherman.
Hey, I will spot lock the hell out of that damn boat on occasion. Group fishing, I will drop. As long as I got folks on board that will pull that anchor in, I will drop that damn anchor in a hurry. I promise you.
Lord. I've been coming back from the stream and seeing you out there freaking putting a hurting on them.
Listen, man, when I first started going offshore not even offshore, just near shore fishing, I had a little Scout 172. I took it out to I want to say it was the 10-mile buoy out of Merle's. And it was a hot cobia bite. Didn't realize, just lucked up, totally got lucky. Happened to go out there like one of the where the cobia fishing plateaued that year. And I was out there that day. There was like 1 million boats, man, 1 million boats out there. Everybody was trolling. And you know what I did?
You dropped the anchor and pissed everyone off out there.
I dropped the anchor in the middle of everybody and set out balloon rigs. I set out balloon rigs and wore them out.
I'm sure you were the talk of the radio.
That's damn right. I'm going to tell you, in all seriousness, I'll tell you something I have done many times in the last 4 to 5 years. And it's always the month of June. I'll do this. I will go to the shark hole and I'll drop an anchor up there and set up a chum slick, all that shit, and I'll bring cobia to the boat. Every time I've done it, every time we've caught a limited cobia doing it. So it works for sure. But for some reason, that area, it's the month of June that works because they seem to they'll come to the beach and they'll push offshore. And I found the 15-mile rock shark hole area. That's where they kind of go, and they'll be there for a little bit before they start going offshore further.
No doubt.
Now, what kind of chum are we talking about?
Just your regular chum that you'll buy at a bait shop. The
I
menhaden.
think it's
chum,
menhaden.
Like
Yeah.
a chum block?
The chum block, correct? Yeah.
Get you
So
the
I will
little
actually-
$10 tag too.
Yeah, I will have chum blocks. I will have more than enough pogies to use for bait, and I'll actually dump some in the live well, not live well, the cooler, some in the live well, and I will put pogies on balloons, down riggers, the whole works, out the back of the boat, and sit back and wait. And one day in particular, I remember that was awesome. I went out there with Jared. You know Jared, Ben and Haley, right? Me and him went there in his little Bulls Bay center console many years ago, dropped the anchor. And that day, I think it was 3 of us. No, it was 2 of us, just me and him. We caught 6 kings and 2 cobia, and we were done heading back in by about 1:30.
Damn.
Doing that.
This old
And
man.
no one else. There's guys trolling around us. Keith Wood was trolling around us. Not a damn bite. And we had a balloon out there, and pow, got hammered every time.
This old man told me a way to chum. Now, you have to kind of take what you hear from a lot of these old timers with a grain of salt. But I think sometimes they tell you stuff just because they just fucking with you. But this sounds legit. He would take dog food. Like it had to be like, it couldn't be like wet food. It had to be like dry, big chunk dog food.
Oh yeah, my dad used to do that.
He would put it in bottles, like 20-ounce drink bottles. He would fill them up. Like you could only fit one at a time in there. He would just sit there and just all day he would fill up several 20-ounce drink bottles with this chunk dog food. And he would take menhaden oil. You can buy a gallon of menhaden oil, and he would fill it up and set it in the shade. And he would let that dog food soak up that. It had to be in the shade. If you put it in the sun, it would like ferment and shit. It would do weird shit, but it had to be in the shade. And he would fill it up with the menhaden oil. The dog food would absorb the menhaden oil, and then he would just keep on filling it up for like several days. And then he would take it out there and put it on his downrigger and send it to the bottom. Wherever he was fishing in 40 foot of water, he'd go to the bottom. If he was fishing in 60 foot of water, it'd go to the bottom. And he'd have holes in the bottle, and that it'd have to be a sizable hole, because if you just put a small hole in a 20-ounce plastic drink bottle, it's just going to be a slit and it's going to close right back up. So it'd have to be a hole where it could come out.
Right.
And by putting it on the bottom, he said that oil rises. Oil and water don't mix. The oil rises. So you put it on the bottom and it goes up into the water column and gets dispersed much better that way. But he says that you have to weed through the sharks, but the good fish will come.
That is a fact.
So let me add to my little cobia story as well. So I failed to mention also that along the chum blocks, we did have a pogie oil drip going back there as well. So you can see a slick way going off forever and ever there. But one thing with the cobia that I have noticed, and this is for some reason, man, time and time again, the same thing happens over and over and over again. You get these balloons out there. When I say balloons, we'll have like 2 out there, 2 balloons, and then I'll have one, down a little deeper, and that's it. But for some reason, those cobia, they will swim past all the baits you got back there, and they will bump the back of your outboard. Chum bag. And when I say we caught cobia that day, or we anchor up, they'll show up behind the boat, and you pitch a bucktail at them, or a live pogie, dead pogie, and that's when they eat it. But for some reason, even though the balloons are out there, we don't catch very many drifting a balloon off the back of the boat. I don't know the answer to that why, but just for some reason they swim by. Maybe a different direction that they take to the boat. But yeah,
I think we give these fish too much credit. Go ahead, Will.
I was out at what was that, 15-Mile Rock a long time ago. Me and my dad went out there just goofing off, catching undersized sea bass, and the chum box flew off the back of the boat, and it looked like a shark was coming up and tapping the box, but it was a cobia, dude. His mouth, had to be that wide.
Oh,
My
wow.
mom, this was a long time ago. My mom bought me this big Bass Pro Shop spinning reel. So I pitched this cigar minnow back there, and he just piles on it. Never seen him again. It stripped all the fucking gears out of the reel. I mean, you could spin it backwards, forwards. He was just gone. That was the biggest Kobe I ever seen in my life.
I got a Kobe story for you here as well. It was one day, me, a couple friends, and the ex, we were out there trolling at Lighthouse Rock, actually. And we had a cobia that was trailing the boat. We're trolling for kings. Live bait, everything, the whole spread. And this cobia was following the boat, and we're throwing every damn thing at him. Bucktails, pogey, dead pogey, cut pogey, you name it. Whatever he had in the boat, he wanted nothing to do with it. And so we're trolling, this damn cobia's following us. It's been at least 45 minutes, and my ex is throwing Skittles off the side of the boat, and this damn cobia is eating the Skittles that she is throwing in the water.
No
Wow.
shit. Elephants eat peanuts.
That just goes to show these fish are stupid. They're absolutely stupid. Yeah. We're giving them so much credit, man. Look at bass fishermen, trout fishermen, fly fishermen. These guys are going out. They're trying 14 different color flies and kinds of flies and lures. These bass fishermen are, it's got to be a red square bill, blah. It's got to. No, it doesn't. These fish are dumb. They're fish.
Fishing with Cody and my buddy Josh. We caught a couple cobia that day, but Cody actually hooked a cobia, had it boat side, and a second cobia followed that cobia, and it was bigger than that one on the hook. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this motherfucker. And I free gaffed that bitch. I got him in the boat. That's the last time I will ever free.
Yeah, he freaking lost his marbles.
That was a male following a female. That's
it may have been, yes. It may possibly have been, but yeah, we got the bigger one in the boat, and ironically enough, we got the bigger one in the boat, and the small one came off the hook like that. So perfect.
Dang, that worked out.
And when I say small, we're not talking about like undersized, but it was 40 inches maybe. The bigger one might have been 43, 44. So not much bigger, but obviously visually a lot bigger than what we had in the hook.
No doubt.
Now they say that the gray trout are biting. You guys know anything about gray trout? They're different than speckled trout.
Gray trout, yes, but I definitely, I don't really pay them much attention until the fall time usually.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're a bycatch while flounder fishing all the time on the reefs. But like anything else, man, you can only keep one, I think it is. So it's kind of ridiculous. I remember back in the day where you can keep 8 per person.
Now, what is it with is the flounder? Is there's a season for flounder now, right? Is
there is none right now. It hadn't been announced yet, but yes, usually there is a season. Or here lately there's been a season.
It's not much. I don't even know if you want to call it a season.
Right. Yeah. It's not worth me taking off to go down there for one fish.
It's like a spring break. Like a flounder spring break.
If it's a one fish limit, I would rather gig one than I would go by boat to actually catch one.
Yeah, no doubt. At least you get to pick which one you want when you do that.
Now, are y'all the type that sets a really light drag for the kings?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do set a light drag for the kings, which is easy to do if you're running, because I know old school guys. There's probably not many people that still do this. Well, if they do, they're probably not on Facebook. 6500s for kings.
No,
you don't really have to worry about setting a light drag because it drags already. You can lock it down.
I would not, because there are other fish out there other than kings that you have potential of catching, and well, you know what, you're shit of luck.
Yeah, you hook a 40-pound amberjack on a 6500, it's over. Yeah, you might as well just cut the line.
You get a 40-pound king on the 6500, you're done also.
All right.
A 40-pound king, maybe. You might have to chase him a little bit.
You're done.
No, you're not done. There's not enough to the reel. The reel's so simple.
You get a 20-pound king with an attitude, you're done.
Yeah, but that spool's not big. So even with all the line on it, doesn't have a whole lot of.
It is. It's bigger than you think. It holds 200 yards of 20-pound mana. It's sizable.
Only? My weight back's about 200 yards usually.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you go with braid, you got more capacity than that.
Wow.
I think the smallest ones I ever used was like the Pin 310s, like what I use for striper fishing.
I have used an Ambassador 7000 before, and they handled
So
it.
how far out is the tide line right now?
Right last weekend, it wasn't a tide line. I mean, it was just nice all the way out until you got up there by Bald Head and stuff. But like we took the western cut, and it was, I mean, it's green as soon as you turn on the beach.
That don't happen often nowadays on the Western Cut.
Well, hey, listen, I'm sorry, fella. I was going to talk about some inshore, near shore, but I got a couple offshore gurus on there tonight. So
ask more nearshore questions. Go for it.
Nearly impossible.
Offshore is the way to go. That's what everybody's getting into now. Everybody's buying a boat and trying to go out on the beach. I mean, you go out there now. I've gone out in my Pathfinder and turned around. Like, it's too freaking rough. And then some dude in a 19-foot DLV is like pounding his brains out. He's like, I'm going to go catch a king mackerel today.
Hey, I mean, the boat can handle more than we can. So, I mean, people talk crap. They say you can't do this, you can't do that. As long as that thing's got a late model, dependable, low hour 4-stroke 150 on the back of it, man, if you want to get your brains pounded out, I mean, I don't think that you're really sacrificing that much safety. As long as you got a dependable outboard with a lot of power, with ample or more than adequate power, I think that you can pretty much do about anything that, that I don't know about you, Will, but you could do about anything that Pete does. If you don't mind,
I think going out there in some rough shit, you're gonna find out what your boat's made of. Carolina skiff, you might be needing some more fiberglass work to patch some of these
catching screws.
Shit. Yeah, screws are coming out. Whatever. Yeah. But
that's what I told Alan. I was like, listen, if we do go out, 20 miles, whatever, and if something comes up, some weather, thunderstorm comes through, we get caught in some snot, man, just hold on. The boat can handle more than you can. Just hold on. I will
say this. I haven't seen the beach forecast, but Saturday and Sunday here, they're calling for it to be stormy, washout. I don't know if it's going to carry over towards the beach, but even though it's showing calm, I'm not entirely sold on it being good weather. So I don't know.
Right. If he stays in that like 10 to 15 mile range, depending on the wind direction, it should say nice, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Unless you're after bottom fish, grouper, or mahi, I feel like you have no reason to even go past 15 miles.
Right. I agree.
Good deal. Good deal. That's good to hear. All right. Well, I'm gonna probably pick your guys' brains after the show. Maybe you can give me a little advice on what we should do.
No doubt. Definitely can do that. Yeah, I think it's
I'll be right back.
It's gonna be nice. Let's see what the weather says. Oh yeah, no wind at all until Sunday afternoon. Yeah, I wouldn't be scared, dude. I'd send it. I'd try to find try to find you some bait just to take out there with you. But bring you a couple spoons, a couple planers, and
we're probably gonna. Hopefully, I can get these guys up early enough to where maybe we can go hit some of those dock lights and catch some trash fish. Just for something. Maybe a live well full of pinfish will be better than nothing.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. I think you could have some fun down there this weekend. And have you ever seen the little diamond jigs? It's got like a treble hook dangling off the end. It's like a little lead.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, even like casting those in the schools of those ABs, but even like going out to a 15-mile wreck, you send that to the bottom. You can, something like that. Yep. Drop one of those to the bottom and see what happens. I mean, I've caught some nice sea bass. I mean, I think this was right when they changed the limit to like 14 inches and they were all like 12 and a half. But, the wrecks and all that stuff, those little
you mentioned blue water candy earlier. What
Mm-hmm.
were you talking about with the blue water candy?
So they make a rig, I guess it's like a Christmas tree, but it's got all these, I don't know how it's really put together, but it's a different color. Like every line coming down is a different color. And some guys are catching those, Atlantic Bonitos like 5 at a time on those.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was catching them 1 at a time on spoons. And my buddy was like, damn, I've made 4 passes and caught a limit, or Caught 15, 20 of them.
Hmm.
Jesus Christ.
That'd
I
be
was
awesome.
picking at them with the spoons.
So I
But
wonder
the
what
further
are
you
these?
go out, the cleaner the water will get, and you'll start seeing stuff like that.
So what are these fish feeding on right
Little
now?
glass minnows and
Glass minnows.
stuff like that. The pogies are like credit card size right now. So,
Oh,
right,
Yep.
they're not very
Sounds
big.
about right for spring bait. Yep.
yeah. It's kind of like being inshore and like when the fish are feeding on those little grass shrimp.
Right.
Like those things are so freaking tiny. Like how
But
do
dude,
you
those
match the hatch with that?
those little credit card pogies and those little mullets. I mean, you go out there Spanish fish, especially with a mullet. You black out a live well and throw 10 of them in the water out there where the bait's real thick and Spanish bite's good.
So that's one thing I love doing in summertime. I mentioned near shore as far as flounder fishing, this and that, but while spot lock, flounder fishing, I love throwing a mullet off the back of the boat and just watching it get hammered by Spanish. And a lot of days we're out there, we'll catch 15 big Spanish. I say big, 2 to 5 pounds. We'll catch 15, but we'll lose 45. You know how it goes
Right.
out there. They'll cut you off and shit. But you catch all those Spanish, stay busy with them, and then you're flounder fishing at the same time too. So that
You guys ever
is fun.
you ever throw any of
Right.
those DOA shrimp?
I have. I've caught some fish on them. I don't,
I have as well, but the problem is there's so much trash out there that those shrimp get cut by blues and stuff.
Right.
And they're not cheap.
Exactly, and that's why I do not do.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe like take a cheaper bait with you. It's like a search bait until you find the fish you want, and then switch over to the deal.
Right.
Benji,
I'll
I'm gonna
tell
send
you-
you a text.
My favorite thing to do down there, like the end of summer, is a tarpon bite when all the mullets show up on the beach.
Yeah.
That is. I've got a hard on for that thing. I mean, I've hooked 3 and broke every single one of them off. Got the bait back and everything. I was like, dude, went to Hilton Head, hooked 5, broke it. I mean, they're the hardest fish to hook.
They
for some
are.
reason.
I hooked onto what was probably 100+ pound tarpon once. I was broke down. I broke I took a little small boat out and went out a couple miles out past the jetties at Merle's, and I had just rebuilt the carbs on this. It was a 30 horsepower Evinrude. It was a little bitty boat, and I didn't replace the seal on the needle valve, and that seal ended up falling apart while I was out there. It was dry rotted. I didn't realize it. It was the only thing I didn't replace, and I couldn't. The outboard was getting flooded. I couldn't get it to start, so I had to. I threw an anchor out. I had like a couple 100 feet of anchor rope, and I was just trying to work on it, trying to get it going. And while I was working on it, I had the cowling of the outboard off, setting in the boat, and I was like, shoot, I might as well fish. I had some live bait. I forget what, maybe live pinfish probably. So I put one out on a balloon rig, and I probably had it out 100 yards, had it in the rod holder, and I was sitting there piddling with, and all of a sudden that thing took off, and I got it, and this thing is screaming drag. I don't know what it is. It's actually absolutely screaming drag. And I fight it for probably 15 seconds, and it broke me off. And I was
What
like,
happens when you use a 6500?
I looked at it. Matter of fact, it was a 6500. So I look out in the distance and I see this massive tarpon, and it's jumping out of the water with the hook and the pinfish hanging out of its mouth. Just jumping out of the water like this.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you know how the tarpon will jump over and over. It's jumping over and over out of the water. Got to be at least 100 pounds. I mean, this thing was gigantic. Yeah,
that hurts your feelings.
That was fun.
So I used to pier fish all the time, and I've hooked a 100+ pound tarpon out there. Biggest Kobe ever caught fishing off the pier, 68 pounds, I think it is. But the tarpon, I would have had his ass, but I got cut off by a boat.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
I had that problem in that Wahoo tournament, dude. Like, I was on plane doing circles around this fish, like screaming at these dudes on the radio. And, and when you go down to Charleston, dude, it's pretty much like Sea Pro country.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know those guys know what channel everybody's talking on. And
So the only time I ever been cut off in the stream, actually twice. Once was a big ass wahoo, but it's kind of our fault because our way back was way
back.
Second one was actually fishing with Jared, and only 2 damn boats out there. It was like the National Geographic type shit with yellowfin jumping every damn where that day. It was that day that we actually caught a couple of good yellowfins out there, but we weren't equipped for, with fluorocarbon, that kind of shit on a still day, but they were jumping everywhere. We hooked one, and that one fucking boat that was out there, sure as shit, came right over our shit and cut us off.
No, you caught a yellowfin not long ago, didn't you? A good yellowfin.
As a matter of fact, I got the Facebook memory that it was last year, about a week ago.
That thing was huge. How big was that? Did you weigh it?
Upper 60s. I don't remember the exact weight. 68.
Yeah, you caught a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Or Oak Island, yeah.
We went out there. Actually, it's first week of May. Went out to this little rock pile I got in shore of Steeples, and we caught 9 of them before like 7:30.
Dude, we were out there that same day that you caught those. This is 4 or 5 years ago. I think we got 3 or 4 that day as well. Yeah, but ours were throughout the day.
And then the Steeples turned into a parking lot.
That's where we were at. Yes.
Dude, everybody kept picking at them that day. You know what everybody's using to pick at them?
What's that?
Drone spoons.
Really?
Yeah, I could not get another bite on the fluorocarbon and the circle hooker and all that stuff. Like all the fancy gold hook, could not get another bite. Everybody's like, put your spoons out. I was like, I don't even have any damn spoons. Bring spoons to the Gulf Stream.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess so. Way back or just somewhere in the spread.
Yeah, I mean, he was slowly picking at it. I was like, dude, what the hell are y'all doing there? He's like, pulling spoons.
Nice.
Jesus.
By the way, I got a text message from Wes for Will to give Wes a call here at some point. I don't know why, but that's all I got.
Oh my God, Wes Chandler is a liberal.
He wants to pick your mind. I was thinking about some shit. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, Wes, did you know Joe Biden put forth the greatest immigration bill in history, and Trump voted it down? Trump was against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Joe Biden. The Democrats did, and Trump voted it down while he was in office because it would have made the Democrats look good. That's how petty he is. So there's something you didn't know. You might want to Google that.
Y'all got too much time on your hands,
right? Yeah. Anyways, back to fishing. More important. If you want a yellowfin, I think right now is your time. You got to go out there between now and I'd say by mid-May, and it's done.
Yeah, first light.
I did not vote for Biden. I did not vote for Biden. Okay. Everybody wants to get
in. Cleared that up, everybody. He didn't vote for Biden.
He voted for Biden.
Yeah. But I haven't really heard of any yellowfin being caught yet. But then again, there's only been like 2 weather days, I guess, to go out there.
That's true. So. I had some buddies go out today. Let's see how they did. See if I can get a report.
I think we'll see a lot more tomorrow and Saturday for sure, with the whole fleet going practically.
Oh,
my ass is on call. I'm actually on call in 10 more minutes. 10 minutes. I start my reserve window.
So what you guys are saying basically during this episode of Real Fisherman is that inshore is for kayakers and bank fishermen, losers.
Pretty much, yes. That's it.
So the guys if you got a boat, you get your ass out of there.
If you're on a budget or you get seasick, inshore shit's for you.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I know people that fish on the bank that'll skunk you in a boat. I mean, you go anywhere and I'll stay right here on this bank.
Yeah, true that. Absolutely. Well,
but
it's been an hour.
It has. Are we calling it?
It's been a pretty good. We ain't gonna call it, but BC, you want to talk backstage a little bit? I'm game for that. We can
okay. Yeah. All right. We're gonna go backstage. I'm gonna get some. Take some notes for my buddies. Me and Lacey, Allen. I'm going backstage with Pete and Will. I'm gonna get us some notes. We're gonna have us a good time.
Me, springtime fishing was my game.
Writing it down
back in the day, so I got you hooked up.
Yeah, I've already written down closest wreck to clean water. That's the only note.
It's
I've
almost
got.
like hybrid fishing, man. You just go to the clean water.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
All right,
year-
guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on Real Fisherman. Good night, everybody. Pete, Will, stay on. We're going to
Yep.
talk behind the
See ya.
scenes. Good night. See you. Bye.